my background, that when we've talked about this, is, basically I'm in celebrity engagement. I'm very familiar with production, pre-production, post-production, kind of the whole environment around making content. As I got better and grew, I was able to hire people that would do the filming. In my old life, in all of the reality TV stuff that I was involved in, we had film crews that followed us, all over the world. And usually I was, on camera some, but more behind the scenes, because the shows were more about, the talent that was on the show, and I was in charge of it all. But I was still involved, very involved to the day-to-day. I was on every shoot. I was in every shoot. I was calling the shots for everything. However, over the course of this, let's say, I don't know, several years, at least 15 plus years, I haven't done as much of the reality, and I moved more into television and movie celebrity and professional athlete type stuff. And so those types of things were always on sets for the most part. We would do things, in real life, but we would have, full crews, full professional crews. And I was more director, producer, and very involved, usually the one that created the concepts, created everything that was happening. I didn't hold any cameras. I didn't edit any footage. I didn't wear a microphone. I was in the fourth wall. So now that I'm making content for myself and not for other people, I am just really behind. I don't really have the technology information that I used to. I mean, I can get my way around most things, but, I'm definitely rusty. I've been, for the last year, really, trying to put out content, that I think would be, worthy of watching. And my point is I was trying to pick a niche, and I was trying to stay in a lane and only talk about this one kind of thing. And I pivoted, changed that content, over the last year on about 3 different occasions on trying to make something click. But what was really happening was even though I was getting great feedback from viewers, which I truly do appreciate, I also didn't feel like I was getting really that much closer to any of the viewers, but also it wasn't helping me personally. And when I was doing so much of this ADHD and ADHD content early on, it was really hard for me because I was also struggling profoundly with these symptoms, and was working desperately to try to get a hold of it. And I really wasn't getting better. I was just talking about it. And, at some point you just have to stop. And that's sort of where I got, was this is not making anything better. This is making everything worse. So, I pivot again and tried to do content that wasn't about that was more about me, but I wasn't really talking about me. I was pre-producing things because I was, busy, and with ADHD and things like that, it's very difficult to accomplish things, and it takes a lot longer for me to do a lot of this stuff because I'm so rusty, and I'm having to film everything myself. I'm having to, edit everything. I have to come up with what I'm going to talk about and shoot it, and then edit it, and then reshoot parts, and then re-edit parts. And it's it's a full-time job that I don't have a full-time paycheck or a full-time amount of time for. I have very young children. And so when I have my kids, it keeps me from being able to, spend as much time as I would normally want to spend on the quality, how it's shot, the message, and such. And so I'm just not happy with the content I've made. People really are they're into having connections with people. And I just didn't feel like my channel was, connecting with people. I feel like most of the responses were things like, oh my gosh, you're speaking, my life. But that didn't really fix or change anything for people. And so, I sort of decided like this is just not necessarily the direction. And hell, see, this is the ADHD brain. I didn't even turn into the right place. I went into one place too soon. So let's turn this puppy back. So that's where I'm at. I'm doing content like this today for two reasons. One is my kids just got out of school, pre-K, and the summer is wide open. I have a lot more time with them. It keeps me away from being able to work, which was already impossible. I just don't have the time to film and pre-produce and write scripts and do all the things that I was doing, before. So this particular week, I was like, the only kind of thing I can get out is just sort of this, like following me around, with my phone, whatever is close, no mic even, and no plan. Just actually, if I have an errand, turn the camera on if I can remember. But also, another pivot because it's me. It's not some kind of produced topic and script that I've been putting out. I feel like my life is incredibly boring now compared to my old life, like to a fault. But I'm going to do my best with what little I do. Dust off the cobwebs and stuff and kind of figure out how to get back into doing what I used to do on my own. Anyway, we're at Home Depot. I got to pick up some air filters. How about that? Home Depot to me is like Target. Let's see here. Motion detectors. Cords. Extenders. Let's see here. A couple of things I know exactly where I'm going for. I'd be in here for an hour to get an air filters package. I'm not even in my normal Home Depot, so I have no idea where anything is because this one's actually not laid out like all of them. I had to actually stop and ask someone, like, what kind of person am I that I'm in the Home Depot and can't find air filters? Okay, all right then. Here we are. I'm on the right aisle. Oh yeah, take a look at this baby. We've hit the mother load. Score. We have a winner. How about them apples, baby? We got out of there with one thing. Shocking. That doesn't happen. Have you noticed how everything's like really loud around me today? But what is with everything being so loud today? Just walked to the wrong car. Look like mine. There's lots of eyeballs. People always eyeball watching. You see these guys? You can't help but look. That's the weird thing about being in a small town. People care a lot about what other people are doing. It's just like life is so different from the person I was pre-pandemic versus the person that I've become now are so different. It's crazy. Like they're not even comparable. I wish that I could feel that person coming back, which really does excite me because I actually really enjoyed that person. But I am older. My priorities have changed. Maybe I could do really well if I could mix the two of those back together, figure out kind of how to be a little bit of both. But it feels good to feel good. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, that's the video.